Broadcast First, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
All right, good evening to you. Kind of a chilly night across central Illinois. We've got some clouds building back in through the region. And you can see that the temperatures tonight are back down into the 20s in a lot of areas. 27 in Champaign, 29 in Springfield. Still holding on to that 32 degree reading in Effingham. All right, out the door tomorrow morning. It's going to be a little chilly. We are expecting wind chills between 5 and 10 degrees with that wind that's out there, and those temperatures down into the upper teens to start things out. All right, we'll come back and talk about when things will finally warm up. We've got 50, close to 50 in the forecast. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
I had $105 in overdraft fees.
And she wasn't the only one to find a surprise in her bank account. What glitch is affecting some BUSEY Bank customers?
This budget represents a bridge to the future.
But it's a bridge the state will only cross if voters approve a tax in November, what the governor plans to do with the money if it happens.
Think buying food out of someone's home isn't a big deal? Why it's getting people in trouble with one health department.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
I had less than what I expected in my account.
Some customers of BUSEY Bank checked their accounts and realized charges had been duplicated. While the bank is working to fix the problem, people affected by this say it is a burden. Good evening. I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons. A glitch in the bank system caused those duplicate charges. While people will not be charged a fee for any overdrafts caused by the error, this has put some in a financial bind that's out of their control. WCIA 3's Jennifer Jensen is live in the newsroom. Jennifer, you spoke with someone this happened to.
Jessica, I did. One woman wasn't able to pay her bills because of this. She went into her local bank and was assured by employees that this would be fixed soon. But she says there's a bigger issue BUSEY Bank needs to address here.
Jennifer Ellis is a BUSEY Bank customer. Overnight, her account dipped into the red.
I woke up, checked my account, and my account was sitting negative $148. Now, yesterday, I had almost $100 just sitting in there.
She's one of many people who experience similar illegitimate charges.
I had $105 in overdraft fees.
In a statement sent to WCIA, the bank's vice president said BUSEY's online banking vendor identified a system-wide error that unexpectedly duplicated account postings when debit purchases were authorized using a PIN number on Monday, February 17th.
It was devastating. I had bills due. I was expecting that money plus a little bit of extra coming in today to help out with taking care of it. But unfortunately, the money's it wasn't there.
BUSEY says they're working to fix this and restore customer accounts as quickly as possible. But Ellis says that doesn't solve the immediate problem, and it's caused her quite a bit of stress.
I sat in the bank crying. I know there's people worse off than me, but if there's a glitch, don't let somebody wake up to finding their bank account in a negative.
The bank credited her account as a temporary fix, but she was told that credit would be withdrawn at midnight. Ultimately, what she wants is for BUSEY to be proactive in its communication when customers' accounts are negatively affected.
There was no notification. There was no warning. There was, even through the app that everyone uses, send out a push notification through that. But unfortunately, there was nothing.
For anyone else who is experiencing similar issues, BUSEY Bank says to call or go into your local branch to notify them. The vice president says this is expected to be corrected by tomorrow. In the newsroom, I'm Jennifer Jensen, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Jennifer, thank you.
The ex-girlfriend of a man arrested for sexual exploitation of a child is speaking about the relationship. She used to date Cole Montgomery of Danville. He was arrested by the FBI along with 14 other men in Bradley earlier this week. Kaylee Holbert says she didn't know he was involved in this when they were dating and only realized he had an interest in kids a couple weeks before they broke up. But she says he told her he was no longer doing that. She was uncomfortable with the idea of him being around her 3 kids. She says she broke up with him as a result and because he was physically and verbally abusive.
I'm glad that me and him are not together, but I'm kind of irritated with him because he went and lied to me. I told him, be honest with me from the beginning, and he said he was. And then this story comes up.
If convicted, Montgomery could face up to 30 years behind bars. Rod Blagojevich spoke from his home in Chicago after his sentence was commuted yesterday.
It's been a long, long journey. That's right. I'm bruised and I'm battered, I'm bloody.
Literally bloody. In fact, the former governor kept dabbing at his chin to wipe away blood. He cut himself shaving, saying he's not used to using a normal razor after being locked up. Blagojevich was sentenced to 14 years before it was cut short by President Trump. The former governor was grateful to him.
President Trump is a man who is tough and outspoken, but he also has a kind heart. And this is an act of kindness, and I also believe it's the beginning of the process to actually turn an injustice into a justice. I'm a Trumpocrat.
The Trumpocrat, that's right.
If I have the ability to vote, I'm going to vote for him.
He says his plan is to fight for criminal justice reform.
Governor Pritzker delivered his second budget address today, and he says a lot is riding on what voters decide in this year's election. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell has the story from the State House.
A lot of Governor Pritzker's biggest spending increases, his big promises, hinge on a big if. If voters approve his progressive income tax at the ballot box in November.
This budget represents a bridge to the future.
Governor Pritzker promised a brighter tomorrow if you'll just wait for it and vote for it. If Illinois rejects a big tax hike on the rich, Pritzker's backup plan threatens to make cuts.
It inevitably cuts into some of the things that we all hold most dear. Increased funding for K-12 education, universities and community colleges.
Holding education and health care hostage in order for him to be able to fulfill a campaign promise, I think is inappropriate.
The backlog of unpaid bills still sits at $7.3 billion. The governor pledged to pay down just a fraction of that this year.
$10 million will go directly to pay down our bill backlog.
That's a fly in an elephant's rear end, so it doesn't exactly get the job done.
Until I can tell you with a straight face that we have no bill backlog, I can't say anything is purely balanced.
While Comptroller Susana Mendoza said this budget is technically not balanced, the governor did support her idea to start saving for the future.
It's been more than a decade since the last contribution was made to the Rainy Day Fund, and it was almost entirely wiped out in 2017 under my predecessor.
Pretty much every other state in the nation has a significant rainy day fund. Some people have 4 to 8% of their revenues in a rainy day fund. We have, brace for this, $60,000 in our rainy day fund. It is not enough to cover 30 seconds worth of expenditures for this state, of operating expenses. $60,000, it's laughable.
But Senate Republican leader Bill Brady argued that a rainy day fund for the future, while nice, should take a back seat to paying down bills from the past.
I frankly don't understand the logic of putting $100 million into a rainy day fund when people go without having their bills paid.
It's important to remember, none of this is final yet. These are Governor Pritzker's goals, essentially his starting point in a negotiation, a debate that now will start to take place over the next 3.5 months or so between Democrats and Republicans as they work to try to forge a deal on the state's budget. Reporting in Springfield, Mark Maxwell.
If the governor gets his progressive income tax, people making more than $250,000 a year would see a huge jump in their income taxes. Right now, everyone pays 4.95%. That would jump to 7.75% and higher. Politicians could change those tax rates and income brackets in the future. From the State House to congressional hopefuls, Republican candidates for the 15th District gathered tonight for a forum in Danville. 4 candidates are trying to replace John Shimkus, who's retiring. Darren Duncan, Chuck Ellington, Mary Miller, and Kerry Wolf answered questions that were written by people in the audience. They talked about former Governor Blagojevich's commutation, campaign finance, public education, and what they want to do in Congress. The primary election is Tuesday, March 17th.
Here's a follow-up from last night. Crews in Danville are investigating the 3rd vacant house fire this year. It happened last night near the corner of Clay and Robinson around 6. The house didn't have any electricity or gas connected to it. It was owned by the city and was on the demolition list. 3 other house fires in Danville are being investigated as arson. They all happened within hours of one another earlier this month. 2 of those homes were vacant. And crews were called to a house fire in Decatur tonight. It happened near West Packard and North Monroe Streets. No word if anyone was hurt or what caused it.
A new festival is coming to one village, and it's all about connecting with other people.
Plus, some restaurants are holes in the wall or family run, but that's a big difference from being run out of a home.
Plus, last night was a major win for the Illini as they went from tragedy to triumph in the span of a week.